Hey you all, how you all doing, folks? I've been under the weather. I'm down with the flu. I was in this public transportation and this lady who sat right beside me just coughed on my neck. Mercy. When I came out the bus, about maybe like 2 hours after, I just felt my throat feeling itchy, and normally my immune system is strong because I take my vitamin C and stuff like that. So I have a lot of fruits I didn't expect. But sometimes persons when they're traveling in public transportation, for the love of me, and these are grown adults, I don't know why they won't cover their mouth when they're coughing. They just cough right on you. So next time I ensure that I wear my mask and probably put something over my head. I don't know. But I don't want to have this feeling again. It looks like this is the one they call the hog flu. Mercy goodness, my eyes, my head, my back, my legs, everywhere hurt. Anyway, I took some cetamol, so not feeling too bad as yesterday. So anyway, folks, please accept my humble apologies that I've taken so long to come back on to finish up this reading, but I was just very busy, and I know every time I come on, most of the times I come on I say the same thing, but hopefully one day everything will settle and I won't be that busy. But I've been very busy and I've been under the weather, so it's just one of those things. So I hope my voice is not that croaky like a frog. I can actually read. So hope you all having an awesome Friday evening. We just had a bit of rain and it's still overcast, still bleak. So we're always thankful for the rain anyway, because I'm glad that the plants have it. I think yesterday I planted, how much was it, 12? Planted about 13 banana suckers, yeah? So I'm glad for the rain. I'm always glad for the rain. So anyway, folks, without further ado, let me say welcome to Reading for the Mature Audience. Welcome. And we're just going to delve right into it. So the name of our book is Flowers in the Attic, and it's written by Virginia Andrews and narrated by Moa Karen. Alright, so we're still at chapter 18, and the last part where we left off, when they went out to the river to swim, and then they came back and Kathy lost her footing at one point. So they were coming back up through the window. So let me just read. I always like to kind of read back over. It's a little part where I left off. So let me see. Alright, so we just come back here. So she says, we reached the chimney. That's when we fell down in our accustomed place and shivered all over. Oh, the irony of it, that we would be glad to be back. These bugs took a spray, and because the rain, the 1 and 2 mosquito took a spray. So let's get into it. So let's read on. Chris lay on his bed and stared over at me. Kathy, for just a second or two, when we were lying on the bank of the lake, it seemed a bit like heaven. Then when you faltered on the rope, I thought I might die too. If you did, we can't do that again. You don't have the strength in your arms that I do. I'm sorry I forgot about that. The night lamp was burning with a rosy glow over in the corner. Our eyes met in the dimness. I'm not sorry we went. I'm glad. It's been so long since I felt real. Did you feel like that, he asked. So did I. Just like we had just like we had left a bad dream that was lasting too long. I dared again. Had to. Chris, where do you think Mama is? She's drifting away from us gradually, and she never really looks at the twins, like they scare her now. But she's never stayed away this long. But she's never stayed away this long before. She's been gone over a month. I heard his heavy, sad sigh. Honestly, Cassie, I just don't know. She hasn't told me any more than she's told you. But you can bet she's got a good reason. So you see, Chris just wants to have the faith in his mother. He doesn't want to give up on her. Sorry. But what kind of reason could she have to leave without an explanation? Isn't that the least she could do? I don't know what to say. If I had children, I would never leave them the way she does. I'd never stick my 4 children away in a locked room and then forget them. You're not going to have any children, remember? Chris, someday I'm going to dance in the arms of a husband who loves me. And if he really wants a baby, then I might agree to have one. Sure, I knew all along you'd change your mind once you grew up, Chris said. Excuse me, folks. You really think I'm pretty enough for a man to love? You're more than pretty enough. He sounded embarrassed. Chris, remember when Mommy told us that it was money that made the world go around and not love? Well, I think she's wrong. Yeah? Give that a bit more thought. Why can't you have both? I gave it thought, plenty of thought. I lay and I stared up at the ceiling that was my dancing floor. And I built life and love over and over. And from every book I'd ever read, I took one wise bead of philosophy and strung them all into a rosary to believe in for the rest of my life. Love. When it came and knocked on my door, was going to be enough. And that unknown author who'd written that if you had fame, it was not enough. And if you had wealth as well, it was still not enough. And if you had fame, wealth, and also love, still it was not enough. Boy, did I feel sorry for him. So this is the end of chapter 18. And we're going on to chapter 19 now. And chapter 19, the heading is One Rainy Afternoon. So let's dig in, folks. Chris was at the windows, both hands holding open the heavy tapestry draperies. The sky was leaden. The rain came down in a solid sheet. Every lamp in our room was lit. And the TV was on as usual. Chris was waiting to see the train that would pass by around 4. You could hear its mournful whistle before dawn, around 4, and then later if you were awake. You could just barely catch a glimpse of the train that appeared to be a toy. It was so far away. He was in his world, I was in mine. Sitting cross-legged on the bed, Carrie and I shared. I cut pictures from decorated magazines Mommy had brought up for my entertainment before she went away to stay so long. I cut each photograph out carefully and pasted them into a large scrapbook. I was planning my dream house where I would live happily ever after. I think I have done something similar like this before. So it's actually like like when you do like a vision board or like a vision book. So I have a vision book. looked at it for quite a while. I haven't done anything with it for quite a while, but I normally like cut out pictures. You know, things that I foresee, things that I want to happen in my life. I cut out the pictures and I paste it on and I say, "Hey, you know, in life, they say words are power, words have power, and you have to speak things into being." So, I normally do my vision books. I need to go and find that book and see what else I need to cut out and paste and watch my dreams coming true one after another. So, you know, you have to, I always say dream big, you know, be positive. Because sometimes even when the world is against you and your back is against the wall, and when you take 10 steps forward, you take how much step forward like you take how much steps backward. You still have to keep on pushing, you know, so. It's always good to do a vision board or a vision book. Alright, so let's continue. I was planning my dream house where I would live happily ever after with a tall, strong, dark-haired husband who loved only me and not 1,000 others on the side. It's always good to dream, huh? Good to dream and fantasize. But you know, sometimes you wake up to reality and realize life ain't that, life really like that. Anyway, I had my life mapped out. My career first, a husband and children when I was ready to retire and give someone else a chance. And when I had my dream home, I would have an emerald glass tub situated on a dais where I could soak in beauty oil all day long if I wanted to. And nobody would be outside the door banging and telling me to hurry up. I never had the chance to sit in the tub long enough. From that emerald tub, I'd step, smelling sweet of flowered perfume, and my skin soft as satin. And my pores would be forever cleansed by the rotten stench of dry old wood and attic dust, permeated with all the miseries of antiquity. So that we, who were young, smelled as old as this house. "Chris," I said, turning to stare at his back, why should we stay on and wait for Mommy to come back? Much less wait for that old man to die. Now that we are strong, why don't we find a way to escape? He didn't say a word, but I saw his hands clutch the fabric of the draperies harder. "Chris, I don't want to talk about it," he flared. "Why are you standing there waiting for the train to pass if you aren't thinking about getting away?" "I'm not waiting for the train. I'm just looking out. That's all." His forehead was pressed against the glass, daring a close neighbor to look out and see him. "Chris, come away from the window. Someone might see you." "I don't give a damn who sees me." My first impulse was to run to him, to put my arms around him and lavish a million kisses on his face to make up for those he was missing from Mommy. I'd draw his head down against my breast and cuddle it there as she used to do, and he'd go back to being the cheerful, sunny optimist who never had a sullen, angry day like I used to. Even if I did all that, Mommy did once. I was wise enough to know it wouldn't be the same. It was her he wanted. He had all his hopes, dreams, and faith wrapped up in one single woman, Mommy. She'd been gone more than 2 months. Sorry, guys. She's been gone more than 2 months. Didn't she realize one day up here was longer than a month of normal living? Did she worry about us and wonder how we were faring? Did she believe that Chris would always be her staunchest supporter when she left us without an excuse, a reason, an explanation? Did she really believe that love, once gained, couldn't be torn asunder by doubts and fears, and could never, never be put back together again? Kathy, said Chris suddenly, where would you go if you had your chance of anywhere? South, I said, down to some warm sunny beach where the waves wash it gentle and low. Don't want high surf with white caps. Don't want the gray sea. Don't want the gray sea chafing against big rough rocks. I want to go where the wind never blows. I just want soft, warm breezes to whisper in my hair and my cheeks while I lie on pure white sand and drink up the sunlight. Yeah, he agreed. Sounded wistful. Sounds nice. The way you say it. Only I wouldn't mind a strong surf and like to ride the crest of a wave on one of those surfboards. It would sort of be like skiing. I put my scissors down, my magazines, my pot of rubber cement, and laid aside the magazines and scrapbook to fully concentrate on Chris. He was missing out on so many sports he loved. Shut up here in one room made old and sad beyond his ears. Made old and sad beyond his years. Ah, how I wanted to comfort him, and I didn't know how. Oh, so I have to read that to go spray. Come away from the window, Chris, please. Leave me alone. I get so damn sick and tired of this place. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't speak until spoken to. Eat those damn meals every day. None of it is hot enough or seasoned right. I think she does it deliberately, just so we'll never have anything to enjoy. Even food. Then I think about all that money. Half of it should be Mommy's and ours. And I tell myself, no matter what, it is worth it. That old man can't live forever. All the money in the world ain't worth the days of living we've lost, I flared back. He spun around, his face red. The hell it isn't. Maybe you can get by with your talent, but I've got years and years of education ahead of me. You know Daddy expected me to be a doctor. So come hell or high water, I'm getting my MD. And if we run away, I'll never be a doctor. You know that. Name what I can do to earn a living for us. Quick, list the jobs I can get other than a dishwasher, a fruit picker, a short order cook. Will any of those put me through college? And then through med school? And I'll have you and the twins to support, as well as myself. A ready-made family at age 16. Chris is really angry. Fiery anger filled me. He didn't give me credit for being able to contribute anything. I can work too, I snapped. I snapped back. Between us, we can manage. Chris, when we were starving, you brought me 4 dead mice and you said God gives people extra strength and abilities in a time of great stress. Well, I believe he does. When we leave here and we are on our own, somehow or other we will make our way and you will be a doctor. I'll do anything to see that you get that damn MD behind your name. Wow. What can you do? He asked in a hateful, sneering way. Before I could reply, the door behind us opened and the grandmother was there. She paused without stepping into the room and fixed her glare on Chris. And he, stubborn and unwillingly to cooperate as before, refused to be intimidated. He didn't move from the window, but he turned to stare out at the train again. So he's being defiant. Boy, she lashed out, move away from the window. This instant. My name is not Boy. My name is Christopher. You can address me by my given name or don't address me at all. But never, never call me Boy again. Wow, he's becoming a man. She spat at his back. I hate that particular name. It was your father's. Out of the kindness of my heart, I pleaded his cause when his mother died and he didn't have a home. My husband didn't want him here, but I felt pity for a young boy without parents or means and robbed of so much. So I kept nagging my husband to let his younger half-brother live under our roof. So your father came. Brilliant, handsome, and he took advantage of our generosity. Deceived us. We sent him to the best of schools, brought him the best of everything, and he stole our daughter, his own half-niece. She was all we had left then, the only one left. And they eloped in the night and came back 2 weeks later, smiling happy, asking us to forgive them for falling in love. That night, my husband had his first heart attack. Has your mother told you that? Has your mother told you that? That she and that man were the cause of your father's heart disease? He ordered her out, told her never to come back, and then he fell down on the floor. She stopped, gasping for breath, putting a large, strong hand, flashing with diamonds, to her throat. Chris turned away from the window and stared at her, as did I. This was more than she had said to us since we came up the stairs to live an eternity ago. We are not to blame for what your parents did, Chris said flatly. You are to blame for what you and your sister have done. What have we done so sinfully, asked? Do you think we can live in one room year after year and not see each other? You helped put us here. You have locked this wing so the servants cannot enter. You want to catch us doing something you consider evil. You want Kathy and me to prove your judgment of your mother's marriage is right. Marriage is right. Look at you, standing there in your iron grey dress, feeling pious and self-righteous while you starve small children. My God, Chris angry. Chris some business again. He just tell the grandmother whatever come to him out. Maybe I would too. Him just fed up. Stop, I cried, terrified by what I saw on the grandmother's face. Chris, don't say anything else. But he had already said too much. She slammed out of the room and my heart came up in my throat. We'll go up in the attic, said Chris calmly. The coward is afraid of the stairwell. We'll be safe enough, and if she starves us, we'll use the sheet ladder and reach the ground. Again, the door opened. The grandmother came striding forward with a green willow switch in her hand. Oh my God, folks, listen. Again the door opened. The grandmother came striding forward with a green willow switch in her hand and grim determination in her eyes. She must have stashed the switch somewhere nearby to have fetched it so quickly. Run into the attic and hide, she lashed out, reaching to seize Chris by his upper arm. And none of you will eat for another week. My God, what a wicked woman. And not only will I whip you, but your sister as well. If you resist and the twins. Wow. It was October. In November, Chris would be 17. He was still only a boy compared to her youth size. He was considering resistance, but glanced at me, then at the twins, who whimpered and clung to each other, and he allowed the old woman to drag him into the bathroom. Oh my God. She closed and locked the door. She ordered him to strip, and to lean over the bathtub. My God, what a wicked woman. Wicked. The twins came running to me, burying their faces in my lap. Make her stop, pleaded Carrie. Don't let her whip Chris. He didn't make a sound at that whip, as that whip slashed down on his bare skin. I heard the sickening thuds of green willow biting into flesh, and I felt every painful blow. Chris and I had become as one in the past year. He was like the other side of me. The way he liked to be, strong and forceful, and able to stand that whip without crying out. I hated her. I sat on that bed and gathered the twins in my arms and felt hate so large looming up inside of me that I didn't know how to release it except by screaming. He felt the whip and I let loose his cries of pain. I hoped God heard. I hope the servants heard. I hope that died grandmother heard. I hope that died grandfather heard. Wow. Wow. Out of the bathroom she came with her whip in her hand. Behind her, Chris trailed, a towel swathed around his hips. He was dead white. I couldn't stop screaming. Shut up! Shut up! She ordered, snapping the whip before my eyes. Silence a second, unless you want more of the same. Oh my God. I couldn't stop screaming, not when she dragged me off to the bed and threw the twins aside when they tried to protect me. Corey went for her leg with his teeth. She sent him reeling with one blow. My God. I went then, my hysteria quelled into the bathroom where I too was ordered to strip. I stood there looking at her diamond brooch, the one she always wore, counting the stones, 17 tiny ones. Her grey taffeta was patterned with fine red lines, and the white collar was hand crocheted. She fixed her eyes on the short stubble of hair. The scarf about my head revealed, with an expression of gloating satisfaction. Undress or I will strip off your clothes. I began to undress slowly, working on the buttons of my blouse. I didn't wear a bra then. I needed one. I saw her eye eyeing my breasts, my flat stomach, before she turned her eyes away, apparently offended. I'm going to get even one day, old woman, I said. There's going to come a day when you are going to be the helpless one, and I'm going to hold the whip in my hands, and there's going to be food in the kitchen that you are never going to eat. For, as you insistently say, God sees everything, and He has His way of working justice. An eye for an eye is His way, grandmother. Never speak to me again, she snapped. She smiled then, confident there would never come that day when I was in control of her fate. Foolishly, I had spoken, using the worst possible timing, and she let me have it, while the whip bit down on my tender flesh in the bedroom. In the bedroom, the twins screamed, Chris, make her stop, make her stop. Don't let Cassie be hurt. I fell down on my knees near the tub, crouching in a tight ball to protect my face, my breast, my most vulnerable areas. Like a wild woman out of control, she lashed at me until the willow switch broke. Oh my God. And folks, although this is just a story, you have parents who are just like this. Yes? You have parents who are just like this. Some evil step-parents, some evil parents who do children just like this. Yes, yep. I'm telling you. The pain was like fire. When the switch broke, I thought it was over. But she picked up a long handle brush and with the And with that, she beat me about the head and shoulders. Try as I would to keep from screaming like the brave silence Chris had kept. I had to let it out. I yelled, "You're not a woman! You're a monster! Something unhuman and inhumane! My reward for this was belting whack against the right side of my skull. Everything went black." Oh my God, this is terrible. High ledge, I drifted into reality, hurting all over, my head splitting with pain. Up in the attic, a record was playing, the Rose Adiago, from the ballet The Sleeping Beauty. If I live to be 100, I will never forget that music and the way I felt when I opened my eyes to see Chris bending over me, applying antiseptic, taping on adhesive plasters, tears in my eyes dropping down on me. He'd ordered the twins up into the attic to play, to study, to color, to do anything to keep their minds off what was going on down here. When he had done for me all that he could with his inadequate medical supplies, I took care of his welted bloody back. Oh my goodness, guys. This is so terrible. I don't like when I get emotional when I'm reading these books. This is terrible. And the thing is, it's just a story, but trust me, you have people who are just like this. Very abusive to children. My God. It's terrible. Anyway, let's read on. I took care of his welted bloody back. Neither of us wore clothes. Clothes would adhere to our oozing cuts. I had the most bruises from the brush. She'd wielded so cruelly. On my head was a dark lump that Chris feared might be a concussion. Doctoring over, we turned on our sides, facing one another under the sheet. Our eyes locked and melted. Our eyes locked and melded as one set. He touched my cheek, the softest, most loving caress. "Don't we have fun, my brother? Don't we have fun?" I sang in a parody of that song about Billy Bailey. We'll hurt the livelong day, and you'll do the doctoring and I'll pay the rest." "Stop," he cried out, looking hurt and defenseless. I know it was my fault. I stood at the window. She didn't have to hurt you too. It doesn't matter. Sooner or later she would do it. From the very first day she planned to punish us for some trifling reason. I just marvel that she held back for so long in using that whip. Wow, terrible. When she was lashing me, I heard you screaming, and I didn't have to. You did it for me, Kathy, and it helped. I didn't feel any pain but yours. We held each other carefully, our bare bodies pressed together. My breast flattened out against his chest. Then he was murmuring my name and tugging off the wrapping from my head, letting loose my spill of long hair before he cupped my head in his hands to gently ease it closer to his lips. It felt odd to be kissed while lying naked in his arms, and not right. "Stop," I whispered. "Stop," I whispered fearfully, feeling that male part of him grow hard against me. "This is just what you thought we did." Bitterly, he laughed before he drew away, telling me I didn't know anything. There was more to making love than just kissing, and we hadn't done more than kiss, ever. "I never will," I said weakly. That night I went to sleep after thinking of his kiss, and not the whipping of the blows from the brush, swelling up in both of us. Let me read this back again. "I never will," I said weakly. That night I went to sleep after thinking of his kiss, and not the whipping or the blows from the brush. Swelling up in both of us was a turmoil of whirling emotions. Something sleeping inside of me had awakened, quickened, just as Aurora slept until the prince came to put her quiet lips a long lover's kiss. That was the way of all fairy tales, ending with the kiss and the happily ever after. Wish life was always like that, folks, and they lived happily ever after, but it ain't so. Well, it can be. Yeah, I think it can be in a sense. Anyway, that was the way of all fairy tales, ending with the kiss and the happily ever after. There had to be some other prince for me to bring about a happy ending. So folks, we managed to finish chapter 19. So we had finished reading chapter 18 and we finished chapter 19, and when we come back it's going to go on to chapter 20. And the heading for chapter 20 is to find a friend. So we will pause there. Folks, I need to start getting so emotional when I read in books like these. But gosh, it's like I'm in the book. It's like I'm a part of what's happening. But as I say, it's just a story, but you do have some evil people in the world that do these things, ill-treat people, and it's really sad. But anyhow, such is life. So thank you, folks. Thank you as always. I appreciate all of you for always taking the time to listen to my reading. I appreciate you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So you all continue having a wonderful Friday evening. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share to Carry the Vibe, which is on YouTube. Tell your friends about it and leave your comments. I always like to hear from you folks. So please remember to comment. And I'll catch you again in short order. I won't take so long to finish reading because we're nearly at the end and it's getting rather interesting. So yeah. Alright folks, peace out. Take care of yourselves. Be safe. Bye.